What does the wanting want? When will it ever end? The loneliness, the pain, the needing, the addiction. I had a fantastic conversation with Duncan Trussell, the creator of Midnight Miracle, brilliant Netflix series, but a fantastic comic. You'll catch him a lot on Rogan. We talked about desire, the nature of desire, and overcoming desire. Duncan Trussell is a brilliant thinker, a funny man. He's got a kind of amazing voice. He's a brilliant person. I adore him. Ask yourself these questions as you watch this video. What do you want? Do you think there's a version of yourself that can be free of this torturous wanting? The conversation originally took place on my Luminary podcast, Under the Skin, that you can subscribe to. Have a deep conversation every week, and this one was one of my favorites. Duncan Trussell is a brilliant communicator, a beautiful human being. I think you're going to love it. One of the things that recurs to me, perhaps as a result of the 12 steps and part of and ongoing therapy, what does the wanting want? What even is wanting? This craving, this desire, this urgent, what, a kind of magnetism? Could it be that it is our part of the yearning for union, that we are just fulfilling our part of the bargain? You know, come home, come back to God, stop it. But like, it's, you know, living in a culture that doesn't present you with like the techniques, the technologies, the ideologies, that tells you that we're just a bundle of nerves and atoms, and that our function here is to become comparatively successful, to engage in systems of dominance and subjugation. It just don't make sense to us, does it, Duncan? And it's hard to get out, man.
No. It is. Well, yeah, I mean, and this is the, I really like, do you ever get into Chogyam Trungpa Rinpoche at all?
No, I mean, even when you're like, I've heard that before, but I've never learned how to correctly say it.
He was teaching these, a very confusing, very powerful form of Buddhism, which has within it the idea that, you know, we are that wanting, that longing, that desire. You're not going to get rid of it. It's not going anywhere. Give up the project of getting rid of the desire. Number one, it's not all you are, but this concept of like, you're going to feel better. Like you said, the Enlightenment's going to make you feel better. When I started working with my meditation teacher, who was Chogyam Trungpa's student, he said to me, I just want to tell you what he told me, and he meant it. This is hopeless. Hopeless.
Off we go.
And it was great. Yeah, off we go. Because immediately it sort of, you know, allowed me to let go of any kind of dreaminess I was having about what was going to happen if I start working with a meditation teacher, that I was going to get the, you know, eternal back massage from the angels, or that there was going to be, I was going to turn into a rainbow or something like that. It's a very down to earth concept, which is like, okay, first of all, just forget it. You're not going to get better. So let's give that up right now. So now you don't have to do, you know, and this is something Pema Chodron says, which is anyone who gets into a spiritual practice, if you get into it with the idea that you want to change yourself, transform yourself, make yourself better, it's the same thing as saying, I don't like who I am. It's an aggression against the self. And so if you enter into a practice more with like, I'm just going to be as I am right now, with all that fucking pain and all that desire and all the confusion and all the addiction and all of it, somewhere in there, maybe you disrupt the circuitry that has been forming, like you so brilliantly put it, this thing, this being that you're being invited to abandon by any great practice or any great lineage, you know, and all the lineages have different ways of coming to terms with it, which all of them remind me of prying a stuffed animal out of a baby's hand, or inviting the baby to let go of the stuffed animal, or figuring out a way to allow in a compassionate way a person to realize that's not all you are. And so, yeah, it's a hopeless situation, Russell, I think. I mean, in the sense that you're never going to get rid of that suffering. And it's always going to be there. It's part of being a human, I think. You know, and once you realize that, awesome. Then you at least you know when you're getting high or wanting to get high, at least you know, oh, it's not going to work. It's like trying to, like, you know, it's a fish trying to get dry. You're not going to, you can't. You're going to suffer here, you know.
So you you practice kind of self-compassion and not being judgmental. This other thing I've been thinking, Duncan, is that we should regard our thoughts, the kind of what you described as sort of mental static earlier. At least I think that's what you were alluding to, that we should regard our thoughts as the first layer of the material world, rather than as part of our personhood, rather than as part of our selfhood. this is the beginning. That's the first layer. First, there's this neurological activity that has a kind of mass and has a kind of charge and a kind of energy. You could weigh it if you had sensitive enough instruments. You could see it if you had sensitive enough eyes. Then there is the world of the senses. Then there is the world of objects, the world of material. And I suppose this is why all of these meditation techniques that we're discussing have generally seem to have like learn to, if God, it's hard to term, isn't it? Become the awareness. You are the awareness. Who is experiencing the body? Who is experiencing the mantra? Who is experiencing the breath? Who is experiencing the feeling of inferiority? You know, like I jump into the movie so fast, man, because like, you know, I take that point about saints. You know, like I heard once, only the really fucked up people become saints. Only the people like, you know, I'm going to spend all my time doing drugs and fucking unless I find something that's gonna do that job for me, you know. And like I suppose that's where it begins, it first in practice. But as I was told by my meditation teacher Bob Roth, who's a TM teacher, he said, like, because I go to him, I want that shit, because I get to sometimes, I'm sure you do too, talk to people like, say, Eckhart Tolle or whatever, and I'm like, Eckhart Tolle, he's in it. Like, he's up there. You can tell talking to the dude, there's almost even on the phone, he can convey to you, like, the feeling of, like, you know, you can feel better listening to this guy. You know, because when you hear a psychic, one of those psychics that goes, oh, I can do Reiki to you on the phone, you think, oh, fuck off. But, like, actually, if you talk to Eckhart Tolle, he can convey it to you. And I said to this meditation teacher, I want to be there. I want to be up there. I get there, but I always come back. I always come back here, back down into the filth and the nettles and the scum and the slime, you know. And he goes, that ain't your path, my meditation teacher said. He goes, people like that, he said, like Michael Singer, who wrote Untethered Soul, people like Eckhart Tolle, them dudes, he said, are rishis. They live at the interface of divine bliss from the oneness. He goes, you are, and he said some sort of word like davitar or something. He goes, your job is to be in communion. You will experience it more in relationship, in discourse. That is where you will experience the divine. But I felt, I don't know, I kind of liked it that there was a sort of a Sanskrit word for what the fuck it is I'm doing, davitar. I liked that. But I also sort of crave, Duncan, that, like, oh man, I want out. I want the bliss. I want the bliss.
I got bad news for you. This is my teacher, Nick Turn, fucked me up, man, in a good way. And I'm going to mess it up for you if I may try. And also, before I do that, I do want to say, I've had the same experience with being on the phone with one of these people, and suddenly you're blasted by them, and they do it. They do that, and it's wild, and I don't know what that is. The implications are so crazy, but I've had.
What are them implications, do you reckon, mate?
Well, I mean, the implication is that, you know, it's some kind of quantum entanglement, to put it in some scientific terminology that I don't understand at all. Also, the implication is, well, I guess it leads to like what I'm going to say that kind of pops the whole damn balloon. Because it's like, I'm with you, my friend. I'm in the filth and the muck and the mud. I love being human. I love the pain. I love I love it all. I love it. It's great. I love the confusion. It's beautiful. I enjoy it. I even though I might say, God, I would like it to end, I don't want it to end. And that's why we're here. But Trungpa Rinpoche, this is what ruins it. And I've thought about this so much, which is that confusion is a condition of enlightenment, meaning that I know it ruins the whole game, because you realize that the moment you are aware that you're confused, what part of you is aware of the confusion? And then you realize, oh shit, I can't escape it. That I'm clinging to the confusion because there's no way to avoid the reality that I'm on a continuum of awakening, and that I'm just choosing to focus on the confused part is another attempt to burrow into illusion, to get out of letting go of the identity. And it just messes it up when you realize, like, damn it, as soon as you're aware that you're confused, you know, well, sorry, man, you don't get to enjoy it anymore, because you're not really confused. You're aware you're confused.
Well, let me know what you thought. Hit me up in the comments below. Do you think me and Duncan are onto something? Is the spiritual life the answer? Tell me about your spiritual practices and techniques. Give us a thumbs up. I read those comments because I need to stay connected to exactly what you think. And if you're not already a subscriber to the Awakening Side channel, please subscribe to it now and look at some of our other well-being content. Sign up to my mailing list too, so I can stay in continual connection with you. And if you want to come see me live between January and May next year, I've got a whole bunch of new dates. You're going to love my show, and I'd love to see you there. Stay free.